A wise man once said, you can't teach path without paint. And that wise man was my old school coach, Ed Ekis, when I was in my 20s, when I was a 15 handicap, over-the-top slicer. He taught me this, and he used actual paint. We use baby powder now. Paint's kind of frowned upon, but he would take a spray paint can and go whoosh, whoosh, and I'll show you the lines that he would draw, and this visual really stood out for me. So just take your baby powder, put a tee in the ground, start it where the ball is, go straight back about 1 foot, okay? So straight back 1 foot, now you curve it inside here, and now you take it from the inside here. So you take it straight back, curve it inside, and then loop it around, take it through the ball, and take it right on past the ball. Now you have this baby powder line here, and this is going to teach you path in a way that you've never thought about it before. Let me show you how this works. Okay, so here's how this works. This is our path line on the backswing, right? Going back straight along this line, make sure that you don't drag it way back inside to start the backswing like so many players do. So we go straight back on this line, and then we kind of loop it under on this line here. So it's just kind of and make these little motions right here, little tiny swings like this to start to feel this. Now, the most important thing that I want you to think about with this is that as that path is swinging from the inside, we want that club face closed to the path, which means that the face is aimed perpendicular to the alignment rails right here, right? So the face is square to the target right here, not square to the path that we're swinging on, right? So we want that path coming from the inside, and we want the face close to the path and square to the targeted impact so that the club's traveling from in to out. That's going to get our ball started out to the right for a right-handed player a little bit. And then it's going to curve back to where the club face was pointed at impact, which we want aimed towards the target. So it's just straight back, loop it under, and club face square to the target at impact, not square to the path. Man, I hope you stick with me through this here, because this has the potential to completely change everything. Almost everybody struggles with swinging over the top their whole lives, and they never make any progress with it. Or if you're like a lot of players, you make a little bit of progress with it, but it's temporary, and then you go right back to swinging back over the top again, right? And the reason that happens is because, this is critical to understand here, the more that you swing that path from the inside on the downswing, the more difficult it becomes to get the face square to the target at impact, okay? The more you swing out for a right-handed player to the right, the more the club face wants to stay open and stay aimed right, okay? So that's why you keep making a little bit of progress with this, but then you come back over the top, because it's that struggle to square up the club face at impact. That's why before you even start working on swinging from the inside on the downswing like this, it's so important that you adopt that strong grip that I always talk about, which should be called a closed face grip. I'm not going to get into a ton of detail here. I talk about this in all of my videos. And if you want some free lessons on the grip that go into a lot of detail on it, go to facefirstgolf.com. But the closed face grip is when we turn this hand over for a right-hand player to the right, okay? And that makes the club face want to turn over and go left. So as you're going to start working on this path, coming more from the inside on the downswing, you're going to need help getting that club face, as I talked about, square or perpendicular, square to your target or perpendicular to these alignment rails, as opposed to being square to that path that we're going to be swinging on here. So you're going to need help getting that club face square to your target instead of square to the path, and that help comes from going to this stronger grip where we move the hand over. So that is really, really an important first piece before we start to really work on this. Now the next thing is that it's about these quality reps, not quantity reps, okay? So I really like to see you, don't worry about going full speed, don't worry about making full swings with this. What I want you really working on here is swinging that path from the inside and making sure that we're getting that face square to the target, not square to the path. That face closed to the path with the path swinging out to right field for a right-handed player, to left field for a left-handed player. So that is, and the best way to start to feel this is just to take that club in just your trail hand here and just trace this with small little swings. Go straight back along this one here, straight back along that chalk line, right? And then we're gonna let this elbow hit that trail side and just kind of ride that hip and feel like you're swinging that path along this one now, right? So we're going back, the trail elbow hits the trail hip, swinging it out this way, and really letting that toe of the club whip past the heel of the club. Let me go slow with this. Really let that, boom, right there. See that toe of the club passing the heel of the club. That's that feeling that you need. Everybody's over the top, over the top. Then over the top leads to this holding the face open with that chicken wing. We're trying to do the exact opposite. We're trying to swing it out to right instead of over the top swinging it to left. And we're trying to whip the toe past the heel of the club, let that toe pass the heel instead of holding that face open with that chicken wing move, right? So this is the exact opposite of probably what your habit's been your whole life. So you've really got to slow this down. And you really got to make these smaller quality reps. So straight back, trail elbow hits the trail hip, and then whip that toe of the club, swing it out along this path, and let that toe of the club really whip past the heel. I just hit the ball. I nipped it a little bit there. So that's how you start to feel this. And it's really important that you're making these little practice swings each time before you hit one, okay? So, and 2 practice swings each time minimum before you hit one, so that you're really grooving the feel of swinging from in to out and letting the toe of the club pass the heel of the club. Now we just go with this, both hands on, same thing. Going along this chalk line, swinging along this one, toe passes the heel, right? Now we're just gonna make a little, maybe 50% kind of speed and length swing right here. Real easy little swing. We're just going to go straight back, loop it along this one, and let that toe of the club really pass the heel of the club here. And there's a nice little, tiny little draw there. Feels real solid. Barely swung at it, you know, but really I can just tell by what the ball is doing there that I got my path coming from the inside, and I got that nice release of the club. There.
Hey, real quick here, I wanted to jump in with a little analysis of that swing that I just made. This is the exact swing that you just saw here. I get a lot of requests for this, wanting to see this in slow motion. What's really going on here? This is a plane line that goes from the hosel of the club up through your belt buckle. This is the line we want to see the club travel on in the backswing. That's why we have this part of the baby powder line right here, so that you take it back a little bit straighter instead of going way inside on the backswing. Then we're dropping it from the inside on the downswing, and I get it a little bit, maybe a little too far from the inside, but that's what we want to do. We want to exaggerate swinging under the plane on the downswing. Now here's impact, and this is what I want you to see right here. Look how quickly, see where that toe of the club has passed the heel of the club right here. And so really quickly through impact, look how that club turns over. It's already turning over, fully released right here. And then as it exits out of the shoulder, that club should be turned over like this, coming out of that lead shoulder there as it's exiting. That's what produces that draw. Let me show you a player who's struggling with what you're probably struggling with. Okay, this is Russ, and Russ is struggling with that same over the top. Let me show you. So pretty good on the backswing, but watch what happens in the downswing. See how he's above that plane line where I was a little bit under it, right? And then this is what I'm talking about. When you swing over the top like that, you're swinging that path left of target through impact. You can see the hands disappear kind of quickly. And then as the club exits, look at the different angle that the club is at right here. You can see where that club is not released. That is the chicken wing holding the face open move that I was talking about there. Let me pull this back up so you can see these side by side. All right, so here is, again, the plane line right on the plane, and then on the downswing, swinging under the plane a little bit, as opposed to what Russ was struggling with here, coming over the top. That's what I guarantee you, that's what you're struggling with in your downswing here. And then watch the difference. See how quickly his hands disappear, where you can see how extended the arms get when you're coming from the inside, and you can make that forearm rollover release. Then watch how the club exits right here at this angle, as opposed to that angle right here. So you can see this is that fully released club face right here. And this is that chicken wing face held open. So that is what 95% of players are struggling with, probably what you're struggling with. Does it work? This is an email from Russ after I gave him a little lesson on this. And he says here that Monday, he shot an 83, which he hasn't done for several years, been shooting 88 to 98. Lost the script for a couple of years and just got stuck on internet tips and is getting back to the steps, back to basics, and seeing results. So let's get back to this lesson. Let's see if I can show you what I showed Russ and get you the same results that he got.
Now it's just going, but it's going back to tracing these and starting with the small. You might even go back to one hand again and go along, toe past. Straight back, loop it under, toe pass. Both hands on, straight back, loop it under, toe passing the heel. Straight back, loop it under, toe passing the heel. Just do a couple of those to really feel it in between every single time that you hit one, so that you're not falling back into that habit. And there's a little bit more speed. You like the, it's like the exploding ball effect there when that baby powder. That was a nice, solid feeling one right there. And I might have added just a little bit of speed to it right there, but felt really good and solid. And now you just keep going back to that same thing. Feel it. Straight back over this. And you want to hit the ball off a tee, obviously, because you want to be able to put the ball back in the same spot whenever you start hitting your baby powder. You don't want to have to redraw your baby powder line, move the ball around over and over, right? So straight back, loop it under, straight back, loop it under, toe past the heel, both hands, straight back, loop it under, toe past the heel, straight back, loop it under, toe past the heel. Might just be adding just that little bit even more speed to it right here, but it's just straight back, loop it under, toe passing the heel. I did not hit that one well. I just thinned it a little bit there. So you won't always hit them great when you're over exaggerating all this stuff, but now I'm not gonna just go and rake one over again and just hit it again because I didn't hit it great, right? We all do that. It's like, well, let me get one over here and hit it. No, I'm gonna be deliberate. I'm gonna go through everything again here, where I'm just gonna go, okay. Straight back, loop it under, toe past the heel. Straight back, loop it under, toe past the heel. Both hands, straight back, loop it under, toe past the heel. Just very deliberate, very deliberate. Now we're going to set up to one, straight back, loop it under, toe past the heel. And there's a nice, solid feeling. That was more like full, almost full swing right there. And that one really jumped off the club face nicely. But that's how you develop that efficiency. That's how you really work on this stuff, right? If you like this stuff, you need to follow along. Hit like, hit subscribe, enable those alerts, because you need to hear this stuff over and over and over. And I hope that really gives you a way, kind of taking you through how you would actually, in a real scenario, work on this stuff. If you were serious about learning how to swing from the inside on the downswing, you would slow it down. You would do those repetitions. You would do those one-hand repetitions, really just visualizing it. You'd use a visual like this. You'd go at slow speed, put both hands on, feel the same thing. You'd hit one at slower speed with smaller swings. Then you would go back and feel all those things again in between hitting shots, so that you can really start to ingrain what it really feels like. That is how you go about having those intentional practice sessions and really learn how to conquer for good that over-the-top swing that plagues the vast majority of players their entire lives. It's probably plagued you your entire life, and it's because you haven't had a system like this. Go to that strong grip to start. You've got to have that confidence that the club face is going to square up before you can start to swing that path more from the inside on the downswing. That's where everybody goes wrong. They start trying to work on downswing path, but they haven't gone to the strong grip, so the face is still open, so inevitably you're going to come back over the top of it. If you go to that strong grip first, then start working on these things this way, you can really start to make progress to permanently solve these problems instead of getting that little temporary fix that goes away as fast as it comes so often. Follow along here. You need to hear this stuff over and over, and if you subscribe to my channel, you will hear this stuff over and over. So I hope that helps you understand the process of how to once and for all conquer that over-the-top swing that plagues the vast majority of players their whole lives and gives you some real solid ways to go and work on this.